What's up, everybody? Welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Crystal. Some of y'all may recognize me as Little Baller, but more importantly, I am your results and transformation coach, leading by example. Your girl about to be 50. Drum roll. I can't believe that I'm saying that. So my intention, per usual, for this channel is to inspire, my ladies to become the best version of themselves. So I'm just going to catch you up on my life. I've been gone for a little while. I'm still working on. If there's anybody struggling or challenged with this being consistent on YouTube, just don't give up. I believe that we will fall down, right? And falling down is not an indication that we have lost the battle. Falling down is an indication that we have tried. So we get to get up, right, and keep on pressing forward. I believe that when we fall down and we throw our hands up and quit, that's when we lose. And I'm never, ever, ever, ever. My prayer is that I'm never coming to this channel and telling you guys I've just quit. I'm throwing in the towel, and it is gonna be what it is gonna be. So for those of you that are working on your perfection, it's okay, like, to just let your hair down and be yourself. We've been over this before. We come on YouTube and we try to do all the things like the bells and the whistles and the thumbnails. And I'm not saying that there's not a place for those things, but when you allow it to overtake you and not and we don't progress because we're thinking about perfecting those areas, now we have a problem. So I was sitting here today and I was like, girl, if you don't get back to your YouTube and make this impact, God put something in my heart to do, and sometimes, I'm sure that He created us all special, and He has given us all a purpose. And one of my biggest things is that I want to make sure that when I die as empty as possible. I used to say that I want to die empty, but God is constantly filling. When He give you a mission and He create a purpose for you, when you fulfill that, it's not the end. It's not the end of everything. Like, He's going to continue to move you higher and higher and higher and deeper and deeper and deeper, if that makes sense. So my goal is to die as empty as possible, but I don't want to die full. Like, I made some steps this year, y'all, that I didn't think I was going to do, but I did. But one thing I always say, one thing for sure, two things for certain. When God is for you, it doesn't matter what the outside world look like. It doesn't matter the limiting beliefs we allow to come into our space, right? None of that matter. The only thing that matter is that you heard what you heard and that you press forward in that with God. Because, sometimes we'll hear it and y'all, this is definitely my testimony. And I'm like, I don't want to do that, Lord. I'm like, I don't want to do that. But one day I found myself like, you ever find yourself chasing your tail or like in a space that you're like, this is not for me. I know God got so much more. So I had to take a moment and take two steps back and think, okay, Crystal, what is it that you're not doing? How are you not showing up? Because if you are in a space and you feel like there's so much more, there got to be something that that you're not doing, or something you're missing. And we are great as a people when we find ourselves in these spaces in life. We're good at blaming other people. Oh my goodness, I'm a mom, so I don't have time for this. Oh my goodness, I'm a spouse. I have a spouse, and I, is requiring this, or my job and all the things. But guess what? When God has something for you, it's for you. When he created you, when He created me, He broke the mold, right? When He created you, He broke the mold. There's only one Crystal. There's only one Little Baller. There's only one me. And when we recognize that and then give an ear to hear to what God is saying, like, it literally should put some type of confidence inside of us. And I've been there before where I felt like now I'm like, man, I'm on fire. But what are we doing as a people to keep that fire burning? Because we'll feel it. And I always say this, y'all, and this is always going to be my thing. And you could put your last dollar on it. When I finish this video and I hit the stop button and I post the video, right? I'm going to post it without editing. I'm just going to do this video. I'm going to come up with a title. I'm going to post it. When all of that is done, what I'm saying, I have to live. The birds flying over my head, the birds stay flying over. But if we allow the bird to build a nest, then I'm going to be coming back with the same video because it's going to cause me to be right back at the start line. So I'm just grateful to be here. I'm grateful, my kids are getting older. I'm grateful just, I am seasoned, right, ladies? We're not old, we are seasoned. And I really can't believe, like, I'm like, girl, you're about to be 50. God allowed you to live 50 years. And I'm like, whoa, I can barely count that high. I can count, I just can't spell. But no, really, I sat in that and I'm like, wow. I kind of took a trip down memory lane and I thought about all the people that I thought was going to be here with me today when I go to celebrate my 50th birthday, and they're not here. I have some friends that have, left here when I was a teenager, in my 20s, in my 30s, and my 40s. And I'm like, look, girl, God still have you in this race. So I'm grateful for that. And now I am, at a point in my life where I'm like, I don't want to do anything that God is not a part of. So as we stepped into 2025, I wrote out my goals. If you know me, you know I am a goal driven person. I like writing them down. I like seeing them. I like revisiting them. I like creating steps to achieve them. And when I did that, one of the things that was put on my heart, and this was one of the things I was actually running from before, not so much running from, I just didn't know how to put it together. And that's one thing about God. Like when we show up and do His will, we don't have to have it all figured out. We think that we have to have it all figured out. He'll give us a charge. He'll put us on a mission. He'll create a purpose for us. And it's not for us to know it all before we move forward. And that, like I said before, that was me. I'm like, I'm trying to put all these pieces together. And, anywho, got the vision and I'm like, can't be talking to me. Can't be me. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. And slowly but surely, when I found myself in that space of like, dang, like I know there's so much more for me. I did a self evaluation. And as I said before, I didn't look left or right and blame all the people for where I am. I actually looked in the mirror and I took full accountability for where I am. And I'm like, listen, okay, Lord, like I started that prayer and just, prayer to me is just opening up your mouth, just like I'm talking right now, and pouring out to God and just asking Him, like, okay, Lord, what is it that you have for me to do? And when He showed me, I was like, Lord, okay. So I'm just going to be bold. I'm just going to move forward in it. And you're just going to put the pieces together for me. And literally, He did just that. Not my will, but God's will. And I'm like, man, not only do He come when we need Him, right? But God is always on time. Our timing, I said there's a time and season for everything, right? Y'all agree? But God's timing is not our timing. And even with that, sometimes He's just waiting to see what it is that we're going to do. Like I said, He can give you a vision, right? He could put purpose in your heart. But when you sit and you try to put all the things together yourself and not leaning on Him, then we find ourselves working so much harder. All we need is faith the size of a mustard seed, an ear to hear, and in a faith to believe what God is saying and walking at. So I'm like, man, so when I turn 50, people are like, oh, what you gonna do for your 50th birthday? I'm not a party person. If the kids throw something for me, cool. Um, but I really want to be attached to a greater calling, if that makes sense. So for me, when I turn 50, and I'm gonna put the cart before the horse when I tell you guys about the community. I want to become the woman that God created me to be. I want to walk fearless. I don't want to fret. I just want to walk by faith, not by sight, and that take work. It take praying, it take fasting, it take knowing who you are. It take cutting out some people that's in your circle because when we're on a mission, everybody can't go, and that's another challenge. That's probably another video for another day because you love people so much and you want them to be a part of what you're about to do. It's not for everybody to go, and it's okay. And I had to come to that realization that, girl, where God is taking you, everybody can't go. And from at first I'm like, dang, because I had a couple conversations and the conversations didn't sit well with me. But then I had to realize, girl, God is lining some things up for you. All we got to do is be willing, right? Be faithful, and then get into action. Trust the process and then get into action. So yeah, so I'm excited. So I have a couple things going on. Working on evolving and elevating to the woman that God created me to be. One of the things I did was I launched a community. And this all happened by accident. That's why I said when God has something for you, you can run, you get high, you can do all the things. But You're going to be running and chasing your tail until you answer the call. So, as I was saying earlier, I have my vision board here. And for this year, for my goals, I broke them down into quarters. And I do have on here that second quarter, I'm sorry, I was going to launch my community. Long story short, I put this 21-day challenge together. And when I stepped back and looked at it, I was like, this is everything I wanted to do in my community anyway. And it was like, oh, okay, Lord, I got you. So that was the birth of the community. I'm super excited about it. Still, and I'm very transparent in our community. I tell the ladies, listen, if God don't tell Crystal to say it, it won't be said. And I'm really dependent on him to lead me and guide me. But honestly, one of my prayers is that I be a bridge for other people. Some of us have doubts. Some of us don't believe in ourselves, especially with women. With me being fifth, going into my 50th year, I noticed that women over 40, they kind of get, and now so they kind of, not everybody, but get into that space of like, man, what am I going to do next? For most of us, our kids are grown, just depending on where you started. But nonetheless, I told them like I want them to see me at have nothing. Like when I say I have nothing, not like completely have nothing, but follow me. I have nothing, and all I have is a vision. All I have is what God told me to do. So when they see me to go from here to here, they know it wasn't because of my own power and my might, but the power of God, because of my obedience of listening. And it's not always gonna look pretty. It's not always gonna be perfect. It's not always gonna come together right in the moment. And I don't know why. And most of us don't know when God He put certain mountains in front of us. Sometimes He put the mountain in front of us to see if we're gonna continue to trust Him. Sometimes He put the mountain in front of us to see if we're going to conjure up the strength to climb over the mountain, because He's not going to move every mountain. That's just what it is. If He move every mountain for you, amazing. So I always say that too. Like, take what you want, leave what you don't. So the community is launched. It's evolve and elevate into the women that God created you to be. So we have our celestial calls. We're studying in there, and I'm just elated to see the women just really walk into their purpose and walk into their greatness. Because for the life of me, I could use my own self, my story to share how so many times I didn't think I was good enough. Even when it comes to this community, I'm like, Lord, I see events, but I'm like, what am I going to say? My speech, I have like a half syllable words. Y'all, your girl can count. I can't spell or read. Well, I can read a little bit. I can spell a little bit, but I'm saying that to say like these other people, and this is why when we say the comparison is a thief of all joy, it is because I admire. There's some women that I really admire. I admire how they grace the stage. I admire their speech. I admire just their their intention, the impact that they make. And I'm like, wow. And on the flip side of it, that as I'm admiring them, I didn't realize that's what I was desiring to do and become. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like, I don't know what they know and all the things, but you don't have to, girl. I had to tell myself, you don't have to. All you got to do is open up yourself, communicate with God, ask him what it is that he had for you, and just ask him to lead and guide you. And when he show you, y'all, we just have to learn, excuse me, we have to learn how to have the faith to just follow his direction. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So we also in the community, it's about mindset, because I really believe you have to change your mindset first. And when we do that, it slowly but surely it will change your life. Our body is our nutrition and fitness. Y'all know your girl, I love a good gym workout. And I really believe that when we pay attention to what we're feeding our body, it's going to be a direct reflection of how healthy we live out our years. And I'm gonna say how healthy we live out our years for the people that's saying, well, if God say I'm gonna live to 70, I'm gonna live to 70 or 80 or 90 or 100. True, but I want to do so in my right mind. I don't, I'm gonna do the best I can to make sure that I don't fall into having dementia, and that I stay away from high blood pressure and sugar diabetes and all the things as best as I can. I can only do what I can do. And through this process, just been learning a lot about fasting. First of all, spiritual fasting is amazing. You want to clean your spirit, you want to you want to get connected and all the things. Fasting is where it's at. But also the natural fasting. And when I started to study this is literally where I was led. I was like, oh my gosh, Started following Dr. Mindy, reading all of her books, watching all her videos, and I decided to become a fasting coach, a certified fasting coach. Y'all, this stuff is so good. So I'm like, whatever it is that, God had for me to serve my community, He's going to bring the people, right? So if you're one of the people under the sound of my voice, you can text Elevate to 301-327-2279. I tell people just try it for a month to see how you like it. Um, so I'm teaching the women, those that choose to sign up for that piece, because I have the community, but then I also have like the fasting for her, for those that want to go to another level when we talk about fasting. And then our spirit. So we have our daily scriptures, we'll have our devotionals, we'll have our celestial calls where we pray and study and all the things. So I am grateful. I'm excited to see like how this is going to evolve and what God is going to do. But I am the one that is driving the ship. And it's like, Crystal, this community is dependent on you. So with that being said, I'm like, I can't drop the ball on this. And I'm just praying through, just coming on here and just being authentic, not having it all together, not knowing what the next step is, but truly trusting in God. He's going to lead and guide me into the things that He had for me. And if He does it for me, He could do it for you. So I'm always one that, would love to encourage and motivate and inspire you, all the women, anybody that's under the sound of my voice. But, my heart and soul is really for the women, because I am female, right? I'm a woman. And I know the challenges that we face when it comes to thinking we're not good enough, when we come to, even when God shows our purpose, it's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to accomplish and or do that? We don't have to know it all. And when the message go out, and I say this all the time too, when there's somebody speaking, the message is to the messenger first. I tell y'all, take what you want, leave what you don't. But this has truly blessed me. So there's so much more to come. And per usual, I always ask those of you that have a word of prayer, continue to pray for me. Pray that I stay vulnerable. Pray that I stay obedient. Pray that I stay faithful. And just pray that I do the things that God called me to do. So y'all stay tuned. If you're for the journey, just follow, like, subscribe, all the things, comment below. However I can help serve you and help you to become better. If you're interested in joining our community, my goal is to impact 100 women. That's my first goal. I had a goal at first, and I succeeded that. It was 20 women, but I had to redo, something happened, and I had to recreate the community. We're good now. So I started off with 29 women, and I think I have like 16 now because everyone had to re-sign up, but it's okay. And this is why I said we have to be more locked in on the journey than we are as far as looking at the numbers and those things. Because I was like, dang, of course, to know me is to know I'm always looking to raise my bar higher and higher, higher. And then even with the 100 women, I'm like, Lord, I don't know how. I said, I don't know how I'm going to make this happen. Girl, you don't have to make it happen. We have to lean in on God. Whoever He has for you, He's going to send helpers, workers of one another, ladies that want to lock arms and like really just really make this happen. So again, with that being said, those of you that have a word of prayer, just continue to pray for me. So I love you. Have the most amazing day ever, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.